Say the price has shot up at that and people say, oh, this tin has gone up by 50% or whatever, buy the Tesco value one.
Here's Tory Brendan Clarke-Smith. That's right, the MP for Bassett Law, whose response to the cost of living crisis was to tell people to buy cheaper. Well, what about those people using food banks, you idiot? His comment led to this hilarious free segment on the Lee Anderson Show.
Yeah, you know, if Jack Monroe or Martin Lewis gives this advice, they're seen as saints for it, but it's evil Conservative politicians, Lee, you know, baked bean branders have been called now.
I've got good news for you, Brandon. We're going to do the baked bean test today. We've got some top brand baked beans, some supermarket and another cheaper brand. So what we're going to do, close your eyes, I'm going to mix them up. Open your mouth.
OK.
Here comes a train. What do you think of that one?
Well, they're cold. I'm not coming back to this pub for food.
Brendan Clarke-Smith was also the lowlife who, during the Partygate scandal, got his mug on TV for swimming against the tide on whether or not Johnson was a lying prick. Listen to him here defending Johnson and bringing Boris into a moment of sympathy when originally attempting to console a grieving parent.
Well, first of all, I'm very sorry to hear about Fred, and you have my sympathy. And as a parent, I can imagine it must be the absolute worst thing in the world. I was bereaved during COVID as well.
Exacerbated by the fact that the Prime Minister was lying to him.
But as was, of course, Boris Johnson. He spent time in ICU himself, of course. So I'm sure he completely understands. But again, exactly what this is about today, this is about Parliament in particular. And, you know, we're not re-examining COVID as a whole. Lots of tragedies happened during COVID all around the world. It's a terrible thing, of course, and we tried our best with that.
Do you want to say anything about the fact that the committee, the report, which Boris Johnson has called a lie, you have called the report spiteful, vindictive, and the committee a kangaroo court? I mean, why are you indulging in what the committee calls a campaign of abuse and intimidation?
Well, I'd say they've overreached as well there.
He was also the man who took over a month to raise just £500 for his re-election campaign. So what are his chances now? With a majority of just over 14,000, it looks pretty good. Except Labour's vote went down by almost 25% in 2019. So I reckon his chances are looking pretty slim.
Open your mouth.
OK.
Here comes a train.
So if he becomes toast, he'll have somewhere to put those beans. Click here to find out the election chances of another sad sack Tory.